What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Monday MLB edition of my DFS podcast. We have just 6 games on the main slate tonight. We have a few on the early slate, and we're going to have the 2 later games here as the after-hours slate. You can get the early and after-hours slates on my Dub Club. The link to sign up is below this video for just $1. Main slate, as usual, will go on my actual website, and it's a tough slate. There's not a ton of great spots. There's not a ton of great pitching. We only have 2 games with an 8.5 over under, and that is the Royals and Brewers and the Dodgers and Marlins. The Dodgers find themselves as huge favorites tonight in that 8.5 over under. So the Dodgers look like the best team to stack, but obviously, if you pick a more expensive pitcher, you can't really stack the Dodgers. I do think it's better to go cheaper at pitcher tonight. And then the Royals look like a pretty good stack too, as the only other game at the 8.5 mark. No real weather to worry about. The only concern was the Royals and Brewers game. That was originally at 7:40 Eastern tonight, and it looks like the rain is coming later in the evening. So they pushed that game up 30 minutes to 7:10 Eastern. So now the rain seems like even less of a worry than it was before. But as usual, I'm going to give you guys some pitchers, some infielders, and some outfielders for value plays using FanDuel salaries. And like I said, it's a tough slate, so we'll get right into it. The clear-cut spend up at pitcher, you can go to Luis Castillo, good matchup in Minnesota. He is 10,200. He's by far the best pitcher on this slate. 4 straight really good games in a row from him. So if you want to spend up at pitcher, Luis Castillo is definitely the guy to go to. I don't think it's the optimal thing to do tonight because there's not going to be a lot of great cheap bats. There's barely any good expensive bats. So if you pick Castillo, you're going to have to really nail down some nice cheap bats in your lineup. It's possible. It's baseball. Anything can happen. So you can definitely go up to Castillo. I don't really like anyone around that top range outside of Castillo. You have Justin Steele and Walker Buehler coming back from their injuries. Steele hurt his hamstring at the beginning of the season, so he might have a pitch limit, but it's not going to be the same story as Walker Buehler. Buehler hasn't pitched against a major league team in almost 2 years now after that Tommy John surgery with his elbow. So while he's a huge favorite tonight with a great matchup against the Marlins and only $8,300, it's just such a blind pick because we don't know what his pitch limit's going to be. He's certainly going to have a pitch limit tonight. I don't know if it's going to be 50 pitches, if it's going to be 65, 75, who knows. But I do not see him pitching more than like 70, 75 pitches tonight. And I think is pretty high. So makes Walker Buehler pretty impossible to get to just because we don't know what his plan is and how long he's going to pitch in this game. I do think the best play tonight for value at pitcher is Andrew Heaney at only 7,700. He has a great matchup in the pitcher's ballpark in Oakland at the Coliseum against the Athletics. Athletics have been hitting the ball a little better than everyone thought they would, but they're still the Athletics. Heaney is a favorite. He's against Alex Wood. I expect these Rangers to be able to provide some run support for Heaney with this matchup against Alex Wood. And Heaney has looked great. Well, I guess not great, but he's looked good over his last 3 starts. 21, 27, 34 at 7,700. If he gets, anything over 20 or 21 fantasy points, we're going to feel really good, especially on this limited 6-game slate. 4 out of his 6 starts this year, he has done well. He did have 2 pretty bad starts on his second and third start. But again, those were against Houston, who's obviously a much better offense than the Oakland Athletics. So I do think Heaney makes for the best value pitcher on this slate. For first base, Freddie Freeman just should never be 3,300. Like I said, these Dodgers have the best matchup tonight against the Marlins, expected to score the most amount of runs. Lefty-righty matchup. I do think Freeman is one of the better value plays here for the Dodgers at 3,300. We just know he should never be a guy. He's a guy that should never be under 3,500 minimal. Usually a guy around 4,000. He's actually starting to piece together some good games. He hardly ever gets a 0. He hasn't gotten a 0 since April 19th. Whether he hits or walks, he finds a way. And in this Dodgers lineup, when you get on base, you have a higher chance of scoring than basically any other team in baseball. So Freeman looks really good. We're going to really want to get to these Dodgers at will as best as we can, especially if we go down to a guy like Andrew Heaney. It's not going to be hard to get 4 Dodgers in your lineups. For shortstop, I think Bobby Witt is a great spend up as well at 4,100. And like I said, with Heaney as the pitcher in this video, I don't mind throwing in some expensive guys. Bobby Witt, one of the best shortstops in baseball, and it's not really an argument. Like I was saying earlier, there's only 2 games with 8.5 over-unders, and it's the Royals game and the Dodgers game, and they're both favorites. So we want to get to the Dodgers, we want to get to the Royals. Bobby Witt, 5-tool player, hits for power, can steal bases, hits for average. Bats second or third, going to probably get 5 at-bats in this game. He has been tearing it up. I mean, he has double-digit fantasy point games in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of his last 9 games. This guy's an absolute stud. You pay a decent amount for him, but you usually get everything that you pay for with Bobby Witt. So I like him in this matchup against the Brewers. Feel really good about Bobby Witt tonight. For the outfield, like I said, let's get to Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani, lefty-righty matchup. Good idea to pair him and Freeman. And then, if you can do it, get Mookie Betts in there too. 1, 2, 3 in this order. Again, the Dodgers look like the best team tonight, so we want to try to get to them as much as possible. Like I was saying earlier, if Luis Castillo is a guy that you like tonight, that's fine, but just know the opportunity cost that you are taking when you pick him. You will only be able to pick 1, maybe 2 of these Dodgers in your lineups with Castillo. As compared to if you get Andrew Heaney in your lineup, you can probably get to 4 Dodgers. So Ohtani looks great. There's not much to say about this guy. He's continuing his prestigious run here. 364 average, 10 homers, 3 homers in his last 2 games. This guy is just elite in every which way. I have no problem spending $4,500 on him. And then our last play, I'm going to use him as a utility spot because I thought he was a better value play than any outfielder I could find. If you pick Freddie Freeman, you're going to have to put Vinny Pasquantino at utility because he's first base as well. Same reasons as Bobby Witt. Let me plug him in just for the visual. Same reasons. Royals, second best team on this slate tonight. 2,800 batting third. He's been really finding his offensive bat as of late. Over the last week or so, he's been hitting the ball. He's on a 5-game hit streak. We know he has the power to hit homers. Lefty-righty matchup here tonight. We'll be batting right behind Bobby Witt. So it's nice to do some stacks with the Dodgers and Royals tonight as the clear-cut, best teams to look at. So Pasquantino at 2,800, sub 3K, looks like a nice value play at first base. That'll do it for this video, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, I am the FD Guru, and I'm signing off. Peace.